Welcome to Be Free Driving School. On this video, we'll look at your first driving lesson, the cockpit drill. So, the cockpit drill is a safety routine that all driving instructors will teach you when you first start your driving lessons. The purpose of the cockpit drill is to make sure that every time you get in the car that you're setting yourselves up to be safe. So very much like when you get in a plane, you'd like to think that the pilot didn't just get on the plane and fly, that they actually went through some safety checks first. Let's have a look at the cockpit drill. We can remember it with this silly little acronym that I've created, which is how did silly Sam steal my grapes? So let's have a look at H. So H is for handbrake. I teach what I do. So the first thing that I do when I get into a vehicle is to make sure that the handbrake is up. That's my priority at that point. The reason being, once you get into a car, let's give you an example. Let's say you're parked on a hill. When you got out of the car, it was just yourself in the car and the handbrake wasn't totally secured. If when you now get in the car, you're bringing a lot of weight in, so maybe you've got passengers and shopping, you've got a lot more weight in, your car potentially could start to roll if your handbrake isn't secure enough. We always want to just always give the handbrake a little tug. As you can see, I've pulled up the handbrake. It looks like it's secure, but guess what? If I pull it up, it wasn't all the way up to the top. So you're just giving it a little tug. The next thing we want to check is that the doors are closed. As the driver, it's your responsibility to make sure that your doors are shut and that no one's going to fall out of your vehicle and your doors aren't going to fly open while you're driving. You can check in your mirrors to see if your doors are flush, that they're flat, and you can just give it a little shake to make sure that your doors are closed. The next thing that we're going to check is your seat. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that you can reach all of the pedals, all of the hand controls, and that you're comfortable and that you can see clearly the road ahead. So your instructor will go through with you all of the different settings to make sure that you're able to adjust your seat. The next S is for steering. So we want to make sure that you can reach the steering wheel. Some cars you can actually adjust the steering wheel. So once again, your instructor will go through how you can adjust your steering wheel. The main thing is that you want to be able to reach the steering wheel comfortably. And the final S is for seatbelts. Well, I'm assuming that as a passenger, you've probably got into a car many times and put a seatbelt on. So your instructor won't be teaching you how to put a seatbelt on, but they will just make sure that you understand that why it shouldn't be twisted, how you can check your seatbelt is actually working just by giving it a sharp tug, and the importance of that. It's important to make sure that your seatbelt is actually working. If you do have knots and twists, number one, it may not be as effective, and number two, it may actually damage you. Some of the safety things as well that your instructor will go through is just making sure that when you release your seatbelt that you are actually holding it, rather than just pushing the button in and letting the seatbelt fly back, which can be quite dangerous. As the driver, you're responsible to make sure that your passengers have seatbelts or that they're in the correct seat restraints. So it's good to read up on this information so that you have an idea of your responsibilities as a driver. M is for mirrors. We want to make sure that we use two hands on the main mirror, which is the inside mirror, when we're adjusting that. And we also want to make sure that the mirrors are clean as well. So as you can see here, I am adjusting the mirror. I know I said two hands, but I'm actually using one hand to film the video, so I can only use one hand. I'm going to make sure that I can see all of the back window out of my mirror. And as you can see, this mirror is a flat glass, so it's like your bathroom mirror. It's reality. I'm also just going to make sure that I can see just a little bit of my head restraint there as well. Okay, and then I've got my side mirrors, external mirrors. This particular car, you have to actually stretch over and adjust the mirrors yourself. If you've got a more modern car, you might have controls inside. And as you can see, I'm adjusted it so that the door handle, you can just see the door handle in the lower right hand corner of the mirror. The outside mirrors, they distort things. They make things actually look smaller further away. And finally, gears. If you're driving a manual car, you're going to want to make sure that it is in neutral, which means it's not in a gear. If you don't do this, when you switch on the engine, your car will jump forward, which potentially could be quite dangerous. So this is how we're going to check. As you can see, so by just pulling to the left and pulling to the right, I know that that's in neutral. And if you have a look, neutral is that line. There's a little map there, then the line all along the middle, which means it's not in a gear. It could be in third gear, which is up, but as you can see, it's really tight. Or it could be in fourth gear, which is, okay, let's just check. We're back in neutral again. Could be in fourth gear. If we pull it down, then that's fourth gear. And once again, it's quite tight. So if I push it back up, give it a pull to the left and the right, I know that that is in neutral. And that's what I'm checking for. I hope you find this video helpful. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss future videos. Till next time, bye bye.